My name is Silas. I was a family member in a Roman family. I can never forget August 24th, AD 1979. I was reading a book while eating fruits, just as always. My parents were at the port, buying some new slaves for the new garden that was built. Then I heard people talking in the streets. It was usually very quiet in the area, so I went out to see what was happening. They were all looking up, so I looked with them. The huge mountain beside Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius, was producing a cloud and a loud rumbling sound, just like something is about to explode. We had no idea what was happening, but we didn't panic. It wasn't a very big cloud after all. 2 hours later, I was still reading my book and waiting for my parents. Suddenly, the sound got louder and the ground started shaking. I realized there was something wrong and I needed to run. I grabbed what I could: jewels, gold, money. When I ran out, I saw huge burning stones and ashes coming out of the volcano. One of the stones landed right on my neighbor's house, and it collapsed immediately. The huge cloud started sending ashes to the ground. It became harder and harder to breathe. The ground was shaking very violently, so I ran as fast as I could down the street. Huge stones kept coming down, but none of them were close to me. But suddenly, one hot rock smashed the street in front of me, and the street started cracking. The crack moved towards me. I couldn't react fast enough, so one of the stone shards hurt my arm. I couldn't stop, so I just tore off some cloth off my toga and wrapped it around my wound. After some more running, I realized that the road doesn't lead to the port. Instead, it led to a cliff. There was no other way to turn now, and the huge amount of ashes already rolling down the volcano to the town. I had no choice but to jump. It was a 500 feet fall, but water under the cliff would save me. I closed my eyes and jumped off. My wound hurt terribly after touching the salty water. I panicked a little, but realized I had to stay determined. I struggled to swim up and return to the surface. I saw the port near where I landed, so I saw many boats trying to escape from Pompeii. I shouted as loud as I could and swam crazily towards the ships, hoping for rescue. Finally, one ship came for me and picked me up. We sailed with the other boats. I looked back at Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius. Then I saw there were hundreds of slaves standing on the port, staring at the ash that was rumbling down the mountain hopelessly. Should we really enslave people? Just as I was thinking, what happened to my parents? I saw them on another ship. We waved to each other, and I could see they were happy too. Soon we arrived at the city of Naples. My family and I sold what I had brought and what they had. We could afford a decent house and food. We got new jobs and our life returned to normal, but we would never forget what happened back at Pompeii.